Sat Sri Akal and welcome to SKA Awaaz, Voices That Inspire, a podcast brought to you by the Singapore Khalsa Association. I'm Harpreet Kaur and today we are thrilled to introduce a guest whose journey into the world of art is nothing short of inspiring. I'm talking about Anit Kaur, a Singapore-based contemporary Sikh artist whose work bridges spirituality, identity and healing. A self-taught painter now pursuing her master's in art therapy training at the Sal College of the Arts. In recent years, Anit has showcased her art internationally, where her pieces have resonated with diverse audiences for their emotional depth and cultural rootedness. Alongside her exhibitions, Anit is deeply committed to art as a tool for emotional growth and community building. Through workshops and art therapy practice, she seeks to make creativity an avenue for healing, self-expression and empowerment. Anit, welcome to SKA Awaaz. Sat Sri Akal.
Sat Sri Akal. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations on the success of your recent art exhibition in London.
Thank you.
But before we get the tea on that, let's go back a little. You've described your art as deeply connected to your identity and roots. Now, growing up as a Singaporean Sikh, what first drew you towards painting? And how has your culture influenced the way you express yourself on canvas?
I think as a Singaporean Sikh who grew up out of Singapore, I always felt I was a minority everywhere. And when I started painting, I was lucky enough to find a mentor. It was during COVID, so it was online, it was on Zoom, but she helped me to figure out what's important to me, who I am. And so as a minority, I feel my style is always different, very fusion. But then who I am inside, I don't make sense without like my dad used to tell us sakis growing up, like going to Gurdwara, like it's such a huge part of our identity that I didn't care about painting other things as much as I cared about painting Sikhi art.
Yep.
And somehow when I started painting fusion style with Sikhi art, people wanted to have it in their homes, and then it kind of took a life of its own, and then it just really, like, one thing led to another. It snowballed into what it is now.
You mentioned you grew out of Singapore.
Yeah, I grew up in Hong Kong and Shanghai.
Nice. Okay, let's touch on the exhibitions, all right? You have done a solo exhibition in Bali. Your pieces were exhibited in Milan, and your most recent was a Sikh exhibition in London. Now let's start with the solo exhibition in Bali. Walk us through that. How did that actually happen?
I went through a very painful experience. It had a big impact on my life. But I sort of really was, with Guru's Kirpa, very determined to not allow it to break me.
Yeah.
So instead of focusing on how that negatively could have impacted me, I said, I want to use that pain to try and create beauty and maybe give voice to people who don't have voice right now. So the Bali show had that concept in mind. And we actually collected 50 people's inner thoughts that they were holding inside and associating that they couldn't share it with others, and allowing them a space to share it. And the concept of the show was all about human connection, and we all go through pain, but there's really no reason that we feel like we have to do it alone. And then I think in that experience, I was lucky enough to find an event coordinator who really believed in this.
Yeah.
And she really took it and ran with it. So she got poets involved, she got musicians involved, and we found a venue organizer that gave us his space for free. So they really just came forward and supported, and I just saw so many miracles through that process. And when we actually had the event, it was pouring rain outside, and they were so scared no one would turn up, but the hall was full. And as we were sharing stories and highlighting things that people have gone through, and the art itself, people were crying, hugging each other, and they sort of said, we walked in strangers, but we're walking out family. So I think that experience was, yes, it was a solo art show, yes, it was my first, but it was something beyond just an art show.
Yeah.
And I felt really lucky and blessed to have organized it and been a part of it. But I think the part I took away is that I think God is in all of us, and the human experience is this: once we let our guards down, the heart-to-heart soul connection, that's all that matters.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You brought along some pieces of your work.
Yes.
How many pieces did you exhibit at the solo exhibition?
There was about 8 pieces I prepared for that.
And how long did you take to prepare these 8 pieces?
I worked about a year to prepare it,
Wow.
but it sort of it helps me.
Of course.
So when I'm painting for these shows, or when I was painting for Namras, it keeps me from it keeps me feeling like how to say it keeps me from drowning.
Of course.
And so I think it's an outlet that I feel very grateful for, because it's truly like my passion, and I get obsessed, and I'm so grateful to have something to be obsessed with. Because while you're painting Guruji or you're painting like all I think for that entire time is that. And so that's not because I'm amazing, it's because in that experience of painting it, I'm being given a gift that my mind can rest and just be in that moment.
So do you prepare yourself before you pick up the canvas that you are going to, take us through that? Like, how does it happen?
Yeah.
You start drawing first before painting?
No.
Okay. Yes, I'm wrong. Correct me.
Good guess, but no.
Okay.
The way I usually work is I like to release control, because then I feel it's not my decision what gets painted. And what I do is I put the canvas on the floor. I maybe choose my color scheme, what I'm feeling.
Yep.
And then there's a medium that I use. I mix glue and water, etc. And as I pour the paint, I allow the paint to go where it needs to go. It takes 2 or 3 days to dry.
Yep.
However, when I pour it, it looks one way. When I come back the next day, it looks another way. The third day, it looks completely different by the time it dries. And if you see this painting next to me, when I poured the paint, when I was pouring the paint, this shape of halo, it formed by itself.
Wow.
So the halo came through the paint. It wasn't
organically.
It was organically, and it wasn't there when I left it. So I was like, I have to put something in. Yeah. So then, basically, like, I've seen this happen many times. Another painting, I left it overnight, and the next day there was a black mark that looked like a barge. So I was not planning to paint Guru Gobind Singh in that painting, but I was like, it needs.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. Yeah. So sometimes the painting will tell me what to paint, basically. So after the paint is set, I put it in front of me. I just try and meditate, look at it, and the image that I feel it was, if I'm lucky enough, something feels like it should be on the painting, then I start. So that's usually how it goes. I think Sikhi is that, right?
Yeah.
Like, we go through hard times, but our Gurujis taught us, I mean, however much they've taught us, we can only hope to learn even 0.01%.
Yeah.
But there is no sadness, there is no happiness. It's just, life is just happening, but we make the best of it. And so we can, I think, always choose where your mind focuses on. So what is happening, maybe you can't choose, but you can choose what you focus on. So I'm always drawn to beautiful colors and brightness, but there's also room for darkness. There's also room for whatever anyone's feeling. And I've come to realize, like, it's really okay. Wherever you are in the spectrum of what you're feeling, it's okay. And there's no real one color that says this means you're sad or that means you're happy.
Yep.
I think it's just in that moment, whatever you're feeling, it's okay. And so whatever comes out, basically. Yeah.
And tell us about this painting.
Yeah, so this was a commission piece. So the painting you're seeing right now in the, I guess, promo, whatever, it's actually a print. The original was painted for a customer.
Okay.
So it was a lot larger, and then this is printed smaller. But basically,
As in printed smaller, as in?
so this is a canvas print.
Yep.
This is not the original painting. So this is the original has gone to my customer.
Oh, okay.
And then you take a high-res image, and then
Oh, wow. But it looks
yeah.
freshly painted.
Yeah, it's a very. I actually do canvas prints. They're very high quality. So
Right.
Yeah.
And take us through the process of someone asking you to do a commission piece. Like, I'm
Sure.
curious about that. How does that work?
Yeah, very often they reach out on Instagram. I try to make it a collaborative process. One is I say, show me your space where you want to hang it, so I can kind of match the colors to your furniture, or like see what color would go. Secondly, they usually tell me what I ask them what image or what they want in the painting.
Sure.
Or what feeling they want. So sometimes they want the peaceful feeling, sometimes dramatic, sometimes this and that.
Yep.
So, and then we come up with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I let them know what my thoughts are. When I start, I say they're allowed one change, and then after that, then it's theirs.
Right.
And yeah.
Okay, so do you do a mock-up sketch first and show them that this is how it probably turned out?
I've been very lucky in that most of the time people say we trust you because
Ah.
I don't really work with plans. I just go intuitively. So it suits me.
Wow. All right, let's move on to your show in London. Before that, I actually was looking at your Instagram, and my most favorite post was the one with Inquisitive, Amandeep from London,
Yeah.
our very popular Sikh artist. And he said that he is inspired by you and how you're smiling all the time, and how I guess you're always in Chajdi Kala, if I can say that, right? I mean, that's amazing for him to compliment you and say such beautiful things about you.
Yeah, I felt very lucky. He was very, very nice. He came obviously 2 years ago,
2 years ago, yeah.
3 years ago for the previous
Yep.
Namras.
Yep.
So he was so supportive. I just started painting at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I was his huge fan before I even picked up a paintbrush. So when I
Right.
found out he was coming, I was so excited.
Yeah.
And then and not only he came to my stall, he bought a canvas print. He
Yep.
was like so supportive.
That
And
was your first
this
Namras,
was the first
right?
Namras,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
And then I was like, oh no, I didn't get any videos with him when he left. So the second Namras when he came in my head, I was like, I'm just gonna ask him.
Yeah. Last year.
And, yeah. And so when he came the second round, I guess he's like a friend, very nice. So I asked him, can you give me a shout out?
Mm-hmm.
And he was so sweet, so generous with
He
it.
is.
And from there, then the UK Sikh community were like, we know him, who is she?
Oh.
So then the organizers in London,
Yeah.
they reached out. They said they're doing a Sikhi show on women warriors. So they were
Wow.
honoring all the women warriors in Sikhi and having an art exhibition on that. And they asked me to be a part of it, and
Yep.
I jumped on it. I was so excited.
sure.
Because it was the first time ever being the Bali show I initiated.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I was invited overseas.
Yep.
So I was like, I'm not going to say no matter
Of
what.
course.
Yeah. I was doing my master's, clinical placement and work and thesis and assignment. But I was like, this is important.
go.
This is very important to me. So I made a custom piece for them. And I was very lucky enough that it sold there and
I know it was. It's going to be on someone's album cover. Or was that was that
that's a different one. Yeah.
Okay.
That's another
Another
London
one.
story.
Okay.
Yeah. So my strategy online is if you've said it once, they haven't heard you. So just be thick-skinned and keep saying. So I was repeating that I was going to London over and over, and through that I got in touch with a influencer who does really beautiful kirtan.
That's right.
And her name is Delhi Mom London.
Yep.
And she and I decided we'll do a music video collab, and I
Yep.
made an album cover for her. She was so sweet. She came to the art show to collect it. And then London experience was amazing because I met Rishi Rich.
I know. So many others,
So
actually.
his story was interesting because 4 years ago he started following my art page, and he reposted my Guru Nanak Dev Ji's paintings, and he did that regularly through the years. So I thought, I'm going all the way, let me try. So I
Yeah.
messaged him, thank you for all your support. It meant a lot to me. I'd love to give you a canvas print to say thank you. So I thought, worst case, he just won't reply.
Yeah.
But he said, sure, come over for coffee.
Called you for cha.
Yeah, so I went with my friends, and then H Dummy was there.
Oh.
And I'm going to do a album cover collab with H Dummy now. It's in the works. We're coming
so
up with a
is that
concept.
Sikhi related as well?
No, that won't be Sikhi related, but it was like I met him, so it's one thing leads to another. That's actually my whole art career has been this.
Yeah, breaking
one thing
barriers,
leads to
Anit.
another. You just end up in the right room and something happens. But what was interesting about Rishi Rich was he says he spends hours a day searching for Guru Nanak Dev Ji's paintings that are unique and make him feel something. So I was like, that's his bhakti then, that he
Yep.
spends and he was so humble, like made it so big and just so humble.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed by that. And the London Sikh community,
Yeah.
what I noticed is they're very talented yet so humble. Every single one of them that I met. So
So you mentioned that this whole exhibition was about Sikh warriors. That piece that you did, Sikh Warrior Princess 2, tell us about that.
So the theme of that, I wanted to honor. I didn't want to decide, is it my pago or that I think there's so many Sikh women warriors, and I'm sure those who know more about history will know even more than I can hope to know. But I had like hidden images inside, so I hid ikunkars inside. The background had hidden horses. I wanted it that you look at it once, you haven't seen everything. And whenever you look at it again, you see something new. And so even like the background with there was Darbar Sahib in the background, but I wanted to have Guru Gobind Singh Ji's silhouette there. So you can't see that in the picture, unfortunately. You can see it in person. So what was exciting for me was at the exhibit, I had people coming up being, oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I didn't see that. So that was very fun for me that, they were finding all these nuggets that were in there. So
Who has inspired you in your life, Anit? In family, relatives, just within the circle?
I think
female
I'm
figure.
Very lucky that my grandmother, my dad's mom, she was my biggest inspiration growing up. We grew up very close, and every night we'd sit together. Whenever I used to come to Singapore and visit her, she'd have Horlicks and Mary Biscuit, and she'd give me one, and we'd both dip it in the Horlicks and eat it. But every time I saw her, every free moment, she was doing Path. Every other free moment, she was listening to Kirtan. She was telling Sakis. Like, her whole life was just about being a kind person and a good person, and very quietly graceful. And so to me, she was just my biggest inspiration. She's always positive no matter what she was going through.
Do you think that somehow when we watch our nannies and dadis, and like you mentioned, she was always praying and doing seva and everything, do you think we silently pick up all these nuances and try to take on our challenges with this approach?
100%. I think you're very lucky if you have witnessed somebody who can be that kind of role model in your life. But even if you haven't had that, it's very possible that you can be the role model for the next person.
Wow. Amazing. Let's talk about your clinical placement.
Yes.
You are into art therapy. And you've done a workshop for a group of women based on art therapy. Can you just explain a little bit more about that, and how did that work and how the outcome was?
Sure. So as a master's art therapy trainee, I haven't graduated yet, so I'll be graduating next year in May. So I can't officially call myself an art therapist until I graduate and until I'm credentialed. It's when I signed up for the program, my impression of what art therapy was that you paint and you feel better.
I would think so too, yes.
And I'm sure most people think that, like, oh, you just color, it's okay. But it's actually a very rigorous process. There's a lot of clinical work, and it's a highly psychodynamic approach. So we work with trauma patients, trauma survivors. We work with like cancer patients. There's people work with children with autism or on the spectrum or neurodivergence. So one-on-one, it can go very deep, and you can get real insights into where the trauma started from, because what is in your unconscious may not be in your conscious mind. So when you speak it out, you just may not be aware what's going on. And sometimes as humans, we repeat the same pattern over and over again, not knowing that there's a conditioning that's happening underneath. With art therapy, when the client draws or creates art or works with clay or different materials based on the therapist deciding what's best for them, or the client themselves intuitively knowing, things can come out from the unconscious. And it gives insights to the therapist that can help them know which direction to go. So because what the nature of what we're doing is it's under the ethical like practices, and it's confidential, I can't share client information. However, I have consent to share this one story. So there was one client who basically, she was very stressed about one area of her life and kept saying every other area was fine. So I got her to draw the different areas of her life. However, when she drew them out, the area of her life that stressed her out and the area that was fine, she drew them exactly the same. So
isn't that her perspective then?
No, to me, it gives me a clue. It's like a puzzle. Because if you're saying that part of your life is fine and this part's so stressful, why do they look the same in your drawing? So even though you're saying that's fine, your unconscious is telling me something else.
Right.
So the further we digged, we went into different sessions. We uncovered that the trauma actually started from the part that she was not willing to look at. And so once we unlocked the trauma, we were able to then heal the parts that were giving her a lot of anxiety and stress, just through the awareness, through therapy, through coping mechanisms. And then it led to actual improvements in the things that she was finding really difficult. So with art therapy, it's really quite powerful because it gives an added dimension to the sessions. And so when I did the workshop for women, because I'm not trained yet, not fully trained and haven't graduated, so I could say it's art healing or art as therapy. So we did a little bit to like bring together, people were sharing what they were going through, and the experience of the art was intended to release. However, after I graduate, I hope to, continue either working at the abuse shelter that I'm working at now, or, with just different clients, whoever needs it. And it's open to anyone. You don't have to have something horrible happen to you, even if it's just for like wellness, and just if you just want a safe space to share what you're going through or just to process something. It's open to anyone. You don't even have to be good at art. You can just sit there and scribble. I was
just going to ask you.
Yeah, because it's not about outcome related. Like it's not an art workshop where the look matters. I sat in a art therapy clinic, and I just scribbled, and that act of scribbling releases something that's stuck inside. So it really doesn't matter if you're good at art or not.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long do these sessions last, and are they better in a group? Or
we can have group sessions, but typically a session would be an hour, but it would depend really on the client.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that hour, there's no guarantee that they are going to feel 100% better. Rather, they will have more awareness.
Yeah. I would say before they start that maybe carve out 8 to 10 sessions at least, so that it's a journey.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can unlock something, but unless you come back the following time, you need like somebody trained who can help you through it. But even if you just want a one-off just to try, that's fine as well.
Okay. Since we're on the topic of women, what are your thoughts on you being a Sikh and a Singaporean? What are some of the challenges you have faced in being an artist? And how can you help other aspiring artists overcome these hurdles? I think the question here is also referring to us as a community, and helping you with platforms, to showcase your work.
Yeah. It's a good question. I never thought of it.
Yeah.
To be honest, whenever I start something, I tend to not look at what could go wrong. I try to look at just what I want out of it, and just enjoy the process. I just release control.
Yeah.
So if I'm painting and I'm enjoying it, I'm not thinking about how do I sell this, I'm just enjoying it. And then I think one thing, Instagram is a very good platform.
Yeah.
So in the past, the conception is if you're an artist, you probably just you become famous after you die. But the difference between now and then is they didn't have social media.
Sure. And
so actually my degree is in marketing. So I would apply my marketing. Basically, I think with artists, it's very difficult for them to separate themselves from the art.
Yes.
So for me, it was a bit easier because I just treated it as like a product. So I had all these strategies in place to get sales, and it was also quite exciting for me. So I really like the marketing side of it as well.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, whenever you go into anything, think of the best possible outcome, and God and the universe will move. They'll send you the right people. So I think us in a Singapore community, I've only experienced extremely supportive Sangat. So even at Namras, I was so lucky to get a space. But everybody who came to speak to me was so supportive, so loving, and I felt so grateful, like that each person who took the time to come and like see the art, buy the art. So I was really lucky. It sold out on day one.
I know.
I went and
there.
cried.
But so Anit, I think it's also your demeanor, right?
Aww.
Just like how Ink mentioned that you're always smiling.
So sweet. So sweet.
I'm sure that's Guru's kirpa, but yeah, you're always jovial, and I think that's displayed in your work as well, your art as well. Yeah. All right, looking ahead, are there any particular themes or places that you want to explore in your upcoming work? I'm talking about maybe new motifs, new cultures. You've been doing a lot of Sikh-inspired art. But when I was looking through your Instagram page, when I went way below, I saw a lot of general stuff. Like there was a packet of jar with the straw inside, and I really resonated with that, because I was like, this is how I order my cup of my plastic of jar.
That was from an art class.
That was from art class. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And another one I liked was this lady who was sitting down and she was hugging her legs like that. The title disturbed me quite a bit. The title was The Acceptance or something like that. And I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
Why acceptance?
That painting was actually meaningful to me. It was also for a mental health art show. And I was going through a very hard time in those days. So I'm very grateful to be out of the hard time. I know on the outside, like, however much I try to focus on positive, and I always try to see whatever's going right.
Yeah.
But I just feel also that the hard times make you who you are.
Definitely.
And so in those times, the idea of that painting was that even though you think you're alone, there's an entity that's always taking care of you. And so she's looking outside. She's not seeing God or this light that's holding an umbrella over her with the rain pouring on her. But there is. And even if she's in the thick of the journey, there's something that's guiding you to where you're supposed to be. And so I just felt like I feel like now, even with the art therapy degree that I'm doing, it's sort of marrying everything I love. It's marrying art, it's marrying like faith, it's also the idea that, you know, we're not stuck where we are. Just because bad things happen, we can still heal. I know in Sikhi we're very lucky because God has given us a lot of avenues to, you know, kirtan, path, to like stay positive. But sometimes people get stuck. And I think there's wisdom in everything. So let's say you high cholesterol, you go to a heart doctor, you know, knee pain, you go to a knee doctor. So I think there's a taboo, like don't go to a therapist, it means you don't have enough faith. But actually, sometimes you get stuck in your situation. Sometimes you just need extra help. Sometimes you need functional advice by a trained professional. So just the idea that you're actually never alone in any given moment. And God can send angels through different forms. So I get to do a grad show at the end of my degree, and so the theme of this will be also women warriors, but it won't be Sikhi related. So, and I'm working at the abuse shelter, so even the women who are surviving what they're going through right now, they're also warriors in their own way.
Of course.
Because they had the strength to leave, or taking care of their kids, having to stand on their feet. And so it's just something I resonate with a lot, and I'm very grateful. I've had a lot of support in my life, but not everyone has. So if I get the chance to help, then I feel like grateful. And especially doing something I love. So,
That's amazing. Anit, before we close, you also mentioned that you are an artist ambassador at the UK organization. At an UK organization.
Yes, that's right.
What's that about? Is that like based in the UK?
Yeah. When I went to the UK this time, so like I said, I met a lot of interesting people. This was an organization called Standing Against Domestic Abuse, and they invoke policy change in the UK, where they work really hard to have more rights for women and children.
Wow.
So things like initially the children had no rights, but the custody would be depending on the courts or depending on that. But they worked really hard that if a child has witnessed abuse, they have the right to choose which parent they would like to stay with. So I think that was really huge. One more was the spouse had the rights to pull the plug. And so if the spouse is the one who beat up the wife, then those rights are now revoked. So they worked really hard to change this. I think I really believe in what they're doing, and I was lucky enough that they asked me to be an artist ambassador to raise awareness. And we are going to be doing a collab in UK in Leeds. We're doing a show, an art show. So I'm creating some art pieces for them, probably doing some art as therapy type events, and just, I don't know, getting to meet a lot of women and hearing their stories, I think will be meaningful.
That sounds like a great collaboration.
Yeah.
Have you thought of doing any collaboration here within the Sikh community?
Yeah, in fact, the workshop that you mentioned was somebody in the Sikh community reached out, and she's saying the Sikh women in Gurdwara, there's many who need support, and so while keeping everything like confidential, they reached out. We had a session, and there was a lot of sharing, and I think that was very meaningful. That there's so many women suffering in silence,
Definitely.
and so my dream would be like whoever needs help, reach out. When I graduate next year, I'll be qualified to help.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I think this is an area which is untapped, very
Yeah.
less spoken about.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be going through abuse per se
No,
to seek any kind of
correct. There's so many reasons and ways, and even if you're actually doing well in life, but you just want to sort of like have a better understanding of yourself and keep just an avenue where you can feel listened to and heard.
Yep.
Our therapies for that as well.
Sure.
And so in the community, I think there's maybe a sense of you can't really speak about what's going wrong.
Yep.
And so this is something that I really want to change, that it's okay to not be okay.
Of course.
It's okay.
Of course.
And it's okay to reach out for help. It's okay.
I was just going to ask you to give our young girls a message.
Yeah.
But I think you basically just answered that. It's okay not to be okay, but don't give up so fast.
Yeah.
And always remain positive. Or how about you? You put the message out to them.
I'd say like sometimes there's so much pressure that we have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
But I think the more you just accept yourself, the more beauty you bring to everyone around you.
Yeah.
So I would say instead of trying to be what everyone else wants you to be, just be you. Because each of us are put here for a different purpose. It may not look the same as the next person,
Yeah.
but we're all unique flowers. And the more we just be ourselves, the more beauty we bring to everyone around us. Yeah.
That's amazing. That sounds like a box of chocolates. That's Anit
Now
for
I'm
you.
getting hungry.
All right, thank you, Anit. Thank you for being here on our podcast. You've been exceptionally inspiring. I love your art. I like how you blend. I mean, there's a reason why your art is called contemporary Sikh art, because it's not traditional, with no offense to it, any art being traditional, but I think they say so much more and they speak volumes about Sikhi. I think they'll resonate very well with the youth as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying this.
No,
Thanks for
I mean
having
it.
me on here.
Thank you for being here, and I wish you all the best. We wish you all the best, and we wish that your presence will hit larger global spaces.
Thank you.
All the best, Anit.
And I wish you all the best as well. The podcast that you're doing, I know it's your baby, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Giving
Thank
everyone
you.
a voice is great.
Thank you, Anit. All right, that was Anit Kaur on SKA Awaaz, Voices That Inspire. Do catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music. You have a good day and remain inspired.